Your actions have changed the world.
Hello, and welcome back to the world of assassination and the trending contracts. And today's contract, Boner Pills and Horny Teens, set on the Hokkaido Snow Festival map. And the contract ID is up on the screen now for anyone who wishes to have a go at it, and has been supplied to us today, courtesy of Springy Photo 7. So on to our briefing, and I've had to bleep quite a lot of this, or censor quite a lot of this, but essentially it just lists our targets and their crimes. And speaking of targets, today we have 5 of them, with no stipulations on how we dispatch them or what we wear whilst we do so, so we have a free app. So for today's challenge, we'll be starting at the default location. We're going to have a remote igmatic gas grenade stored up in the morgue, and we're going to be bringing with us an electronic keycard hacker and our silenced pistol. So right from the start and off the bat, we need to make our way over to the suite area, or the hotel area I like to call it. And we are heading for the apartment directly ahead of us, which belongs to Amos Dexter. He is currently in attendance, but he will be leaving momentarily. So we're just going to wait outside his door here, and when he exits, we can then sneak in behind him. We're going to make our way into the living area and grab the illegal pack of cigarettes from the side table there. He shouldn't have these. Cigarettes are not allowed on the Gamma facility. Let's go and inform someone. So we're going to make our way into the sushi bar, and we're heading for the private cubicles at the back of the room, most importantly the one on the left. And as long as Yuki Yamazaki is not around, which she shouldn't be, she should currently be engaged in a conversation with the hospital director. We can vault into the middle cubicle, add the pack of cigarettes to the table, and then make our way out past our other target in this map and over to the far end of the Tranquility Garden. We're just going to pull out our silenced pistol and put a hole in the oil drum in the corner there, and that will be Yuki Yamazaki's demise in a few moments. Actually, it's quite a while. So we're going to make our way down the drain pipe at the edge there into the sleeping quarters. We're going to grab the neurochip remote and then make our way over to the morgue, which is where a few of our targets are located. So we're just going to make our way up into the morgue area and into the autopsy room, and we're just going to wait for the surgeon there to make his way around the table, have his back to us. We can then scoot off to our right and up the stairs. This leads directly to the operating room and the stem cell control room, and there is our next target just on the left. She's going to come into the stem cell control room, and once she's at the control panel, we are able to then shoot her in the head, and her body will be hidden by the machines. So that's another target down, and we're now going to make our way back into and through the morgue. So through the autopsy room, through the furnace room, and through the fridge room, and into the security office at the far end here. We're going to render the guard in here unconscious. There you go, sir. You've had a very busy day staring at screens. It's time for a nap. We're going to hide him in the closet provided, and we'll take his outfit as well at some point and take out the surveillance system. So our next target is the surgeon in the next room here, but before we trigger his neuro remote, we're going to get rid of his colleague, as he could come into play later on. So we're just going to overflow this sink here, make our way back into the security room, and when he comes over to investigate, we can render him unconscious and hide him in the closet. Now the reason we're removing this guy is that when we take on Agent Smith, there is a possibility that this guy can be alerted, and depending on which direction he runs, you can either intercept him or he's going to get away and cause a lot of panic. So it's just easier to remove him from the equation, and once we have done so, we can then hide behind the motorcyclist here, trigger the neurochip remote, which will give the surgeon a wave of euphoria before we cruelly snatch it away again and drop him into a pit of depression. So essentially he will now go and kill himself. Again, this will take some time, so once he wanders off, we can move on to Agent Smith. So that is technically 3 kills now dealt with. So once he has disappeared off, we can then open the fridge here with the keycard hacker, and we can stop Agent Smith before he even starts getting into his little routine. Now if you hit that the door behind with the bullet, even through the agent's head, that's what triggers the other surgeon to go nuts. So once we have Agent Smith removed, we can go and retrieve our gas grenade. We're going to remove it from the briefcase and then replace it, and then we're going to head for the helipad. I was going to go up this way, but it's going to be more beneficial to actually go the long way round, as we do need to make a stop on the way. So we're just going to head straight out of the morgue area. Once we're past the surgeons in the operating room or the autopsy room, there is the depressed surgeon contemplating life. He's going to make his way up to the Tranquility Garden in a few moments. We're going to make our way to this little storage room here where the pilot frequents. We're going to knock out the sleeping guard inside, hide him in the closet provided, make sure you grab his gun. We're going to grab our briefcase, and then we're going to make our way up to the helipad. And while we're up here, for the purposes of the video, we are going to miss an opportunity to get to our final target. So as you can see, there is the helicopter pilot over our shoulder along with the chief surgeon. Now we need to secure both of them and their outfits in order to even access our final target. So we're just going to let the pilot head down to the storage room and make his way back. In the meantime, we are going to watch the mortician here throw himself off the mountain. So away he goes, and the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that at that same moment, Yuki Yamazaki was just arriving for her cigarette. So she's found the cigarettes and she's gone for a smoke, and she's put out that cigarette in the oil drum that we leaked earlier. So that's our 2 long-term kills now finally dealt with. Unfortunately, we do now have to wait for Niles, the helicopter pilot, and the chief surgeon to meet up once again. Depending on where they are in their routines, it could take a couple of moments, it could take a couple of minutes. So once they have finished their meeting, once again the pilot will make his way down to the storeroom, and this time we are going to follow him down, remove him from the equation, and take his place at the next meeting with the chief surgeon. So their conversation has now finished. The helicopter pilot should now head downstairs. This is a slow section of the challenge or the contract. This is quite a lot of work just to get access to our target, who is in the operating room control room, and you can only get in there with a couple of disguises, either a surgeon or the chief surgeon. And the easiest to get your hands on is the chief surgeon, but it is quite lengthy. So once the helicopter pilot makes his way into the storeroom, we can render him unconscious, put him in the closet, take his outfit, and return to the helipad, where once again we have a bit of a wait while we await the arrival or re-arrival of the chief surgeon. After a few minutes or so, he should make his way out here and engage us in a conversation.
Nails, I need another pill. The effect is waning.
This way, Doc. I'll show you where my stash is.
Hey, I get it. You're not an errand boy. Lead the way.
So at this point we are going to lead the chief surgeon down to the storeroom. Now this can be quite tricky, which is why I'm using all of the outside area. I do still even have to stop a couple of times. If you get too far ahead of the chief surgeon, he will just stop and eventually go back into the main building. So you need to keep him in close proximity. But eventually he will come into the unconscious making room, shall we call it, and find himself very quickly unconscious. You can't put him in the closet as it is now full, but that doesn't matter. No one else is going to come into this area. So once we have the chief surgeon's outfit on, we can now finally make our way into the building. It's still not quite that easy, as we have an enforcer on the bridge there, so we are forced to go onto the mounting pass and into the building up on this floor, and then make our way back down to the lower level via the stairs here, just to bypass the one enforcer. You can do other things, but this is probably the easiest way. So once back down on the lower floor, we're going to select our gas grenade detonator. Hello boys. And make our way into the control room and avoid the other enforcer in the room here. And then we're going to trigger our gas grenade yet next to our final target. And just be aware there is a patrolling enforcer in this corridor. He's currently at the far end, so we have enough time to make our way down the corridor and into the bathroom. Let's see if we can't get rid of this guy. No, he's ignored that briefcase completely. Never mind, I'll have it back. So eventually our target will make their way to the bathroom here, and they will head into one of the cubicles, and she didn't even hesitate there. She knew exactly which cubicle she was going into. Unfortunately for her, we were here waiting for her, and we can reintroduce her to whatever she had for breakfast. So that's our final target taken care of. So all that's left for us to do is to make good our escape. We'll leave the briefcase there, we don't need that. So we're going to make our way back upstairs the same way we came down. There is the patrolling enforcer, so we're just going to wait here for him to make his way past. And once he's past this corridor, we can then sneak behind him and make our way back upstairs. So he's just going to radio in, turn off to his right. That leaves us the corridor free to make our way up the stairs and back out onto the mountain pass, where we are confronted with a dilemma. Do we take the helicopter or the mountain pass? I've opted for the mountain pass, as it is an exit we don't really utilise very much. So there we go, one more trending contract taken care of. I am quite enjoying the Snow Festival map. When it was first released, I didn't like it very much. It made quite a lot of changes to what I was used to for Hokkaido, but I have grown quite fond of it over the years. So we have confirmation all of our targets were eliminated according to plan, and we got our Silent Assassin rating. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.